All right, hey everybody. We're gonna go ahead and start in a couple minutes. Today we have Professor Christie Burley from Meredith College. She's one of the counselors in charge of the post-bac program that they have over there. It's a one-year post-bac program. I've known a few people that have done it, and I've heard great things about it. Um, so if you need to sign in for the attendance, there's the QR code, and then we also have the t-shirt giveaway. We've got one shirt left. So we'll be picking one random pre-med club member to get that last shirt. Hey, Professor Burley, are you there?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Hey,
Hi, are you ready for me to start, or are we waiting on a few more people?
um, we can wait a couple minutes, and all right, we'll get started at 4:04.
Okay. Good luck.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Professor Burley, if you need to share your screen, I think you can.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, hope everybody can see this.
Yeah.
Perfect. There we go. Okay. I'm actually not a professor, but thanks for the upgrade. I'm the program manager and admissions counselor for the program. Dr. Karthik Agoram is our director and our lead professor for the program, and he could not join us today, but his contact information will be at the end of this short presentation, and you're welcome to contact him directly. He does a lot with the advising. I handle more of the admissions, so that's kind of how we're divided out. But I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background about the post-bac program today, and then there'll be some time for questions at the end. So Meredith College is, it's an undergraduate institution, mostly. There are some graduate programs there, but it's primarily undergraduate. And it's very small compared to NC State. So we have around 2,000 students. I'm sure that some of your classes are very large there, and you're used to maybe 2,000 in your major, but Meredith is very small. So the faculty members there are meant to teach you. They are there primarily as teachers and advisors. They're not doing research. Their time is for you. So that's one of the unique and nice things about Meredith. And it's right down the street from NC State. So you probably have passed it. I don't know if you've been over there, but you've probably driven by and not even realized it. The post-bac program itself is actually not a degree program. It's a certificate program. It's housed in the graduate school, but you're actually taking undergraduate classes. And the people that come into our program, we don't really classify you specifically, but they're either mostly career changers, people that may have been an English major and want to go into medical school, or an enhancer where, say, you were like a bio major and you want to go to med school, but you need some additional classes to get into medical school. So we have students in both categories, and advising is based on you. So it's individualized advising. There's not like a blanket way we do things. It depends on you and what you want to do. So we really try to serve the students and try to meet their needs. And we're pre-health, not just pre-med. So we have, in addition to medical school, we have DOs, we have physician assistants, dental, and a few others, but these are the primary. Our program itself is a 1-year full-time program. So it's typically May to May. Sometimes it's August to May. If you've already had like your basic bio and chem series, then you may be able to start in the fall. But when you apply, you always have to apply for summer, because that's when we accept our cohort. And then we decide through individualized advising whether or not you start in May or August. But when you do your application, don't check fall of whatever year you're applying, because the admissions office will flag that. So make sure you check summer, even though after advising, you may actually start in the fall. And typically students take whatever they need in the summer. So that varies by student, but you definitely would have 12 credit hours in the fall and 12 credit hours in the spring, because you need the 24 hours to get the certificate. That is required for all students. But if you also need the summer classes, that's in addition to that. Our cohorts are usually between 35 and 40 students, and it's very diverse, lots of different ages, backgrounds, ethnicities, different majors. The class sizes are very small. There's usually about 20 students in your classes. So it's different than what you're probably used to. I used to maybe 100 or so. And some of the classes are post-bac only, but a lot of them you're in with the regular undergraduate students. And like I said, the advising is individualized. So the advising starts when you deposit. So after you're accepted and you deposit, then you get to have an advising appointment with Dr. Agoram. And then the advising basically continues until you're accepted into your health profession school. So that means that we stay with you until you get into the school of your choice. So we have other things that we do as well. We do committee letters for medical and dental schools. So we work with you on that. We help you with the application systems like the CAS systems, if you're familiar with those. We work with you on personal statements and things like that. So we really do continue to stay with you through the process. It's not like when you graduate, you're gone. We make sure that you have what you need to get to where you need to go. Part of our program means that there's a requirement of 100 hours of either shadowing, volunteer work, service, and that happens when you get into our program. So if you start in May, that would be from May to May. If you start in August, that would be from August to May. We have different places that we work with. We don't place you. You find those on your own, but we do have lists of where students have been before, and we can share those with you. And usually we ask that students do something that they like, something they're passionate about. If you can't stand working with kids, you probably don't want to do 100 hours shadowing with kids because you may just lose your mind. So make sure it's something that you would be interested in doing for that amount of time. And we also, throughout your program, provide workshops to you to help you with things like the personal statements. We do Clifton Strength Finders. There's MCAT preparation through, it's called UWorld is the company we use, but the faculty work with you on that too. And a lot of people ask this question about the overall acceptance rate. Well, it's about 90% over all the health professions. So we have a good track record of helping people to actually get into medical, dental, PA school, whatever they want to do. We have some linkage agreements with different schools for medical. Actually, DO, that's Virginia College of Osteopathic Medicine. We call it VCOM for short. And their requirements are here on the screen. So we pick up to 5 students per cohort. And you would get an automatic interview if you're included in that bunch of students. And then the PA program, we have an agreement with Methodist University, and we usually refer up to 2 students per cohort for them. And that's their requirements are up there as well. And after you're admitted to our program, we can talk to you a little more about that, but it gives you an idea that we do have some things available with some of the schools. Tuition, everybody likes to know how much things are going to cost. For fall and spring, they are billed separately, so they're about $10,000 a piece. It's $20,000 total, and summer is based on per credit hour, so it's about $375 per hour. So if you took 15 credit hours times 375, for around $5,000 per summer, and summer is billed separately from fall and then spring. Financial aid. It's a certificate program, so there's no scholarships, but you do get a reduced tuition from the regular Meredith undergrad tuition. And Meredith is a private school, so there is no in-state, out-of-state tuition like NC State. It's just the flat rate. So it doesn't matter where you're from or what your residency is. And you can also fill out the FAFSA, the Federal Student Aid application, and talk to financial aid if you need additional assistance. But basically, there's not like regular scholarships like in a degree program because we're a certificate program. To apply to our program, and you still have some time, you get your application in by April 1st. We still have some spots open. So to apply, this is also on our website. So it's that recruit.edu/apply. You can apply on there. And for the application, we require that you have a bachelor's degree. Now, if you're finishing your degree in May, fine. You would submit whatever transcript you have now, and then once all your grades are posted and your degree is conferred, you would send us an official transcript with those classes as well. We require a standardized test score, whatever ones you have taken. If you took the SAT and it's 20 years old, fine. If you took the MCAT, GRE, just submit whatever test score you have. We don't require any specific one. We just need to see a standardized test score. And then we need official transcripts from all your colleges and universities. Even if you transferred credits in from somewhere else, we want to see the original grade on those. And you can send those electronically to the graduate@meredith.edu. That graduate.meredith.edu is the email address for graduate admissions. So anything you need to send regarding your application, if you can't upload it or have problems, that's who to contact. You need 2 letters of recommendation. They need to be from either a faculty member, someone you've worked with, somebody you've shadowed with, just no personal friends or family. It has to be a professional recommendation. And then an essay. The essay is usually about a page, page and a half. And you're going to want to tell us why you want to be in the post-bac program, what you want to do. Do you want to go into medical school, PA school? Why? What are some of your experiences? Tie all those in. We also want a resume. And on your resume, usually when you apply for a job, you just list, professional things, but we want to see your volunteer work, your shadowing, your health related work to show us that you know what you're getting into. So make sure you have a section on your resume for that, or you can include it in some other way, but make sure it's included. Okay, now here's an important slide. It talks about who to contact for what. So if you need application assistance, that's that graduate at meredith.edu, and their contact phone number is on there as well. Program questions, you can contact me, Christie Burley, and then advising questions, if you have course questions, that would be the director, Dr. Karthik Agora. So I hope this has been helpful, and I think, Mohammed, we can open it up for some questions now.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? If you guys have questions, you can drop them in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself.
Hi, Christy. I have one question. So thanks for the presentation. And you mentioned that about 90% of your students, get accepted into the professional programs. And so I was curious about those, 10% that don't get accepted. Is it a thing where you think the program isn't good for them, or they just weren't ready to apply? I was just curious about that.
It's a lot of factors. Some decide to do something else. Some go through our program and maybe apply first go around med school and don't get in, and then end up doing another career. Some go into missions, and some apply different cycles, like they apply one cycle, don't get in, and then apply another cycle and get in the second cycle. So it's a variety of different things. I think the program is good, but sometimes people change or decide to do different things. And there are some that just don't get accepted because there are schools that are more competitive than others. And if you only apply to certain schools, then you may not get in.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So in the chat, Ashley asked if students opted to change grading to pass-fail option at any point during undergrad, are GPAs recalculated?
With COVID, we see a lot of those pass fails, so it's not really an issue now. If you can get a grade, it's better to get the grade, but because of COVID, the pass fails have been more acceptable, especially on our end. But you would need to check with the different schools that you'd be applying to after us to make sure what their policies are.
Alana asked, since it's a private school, what kind of financial aid is available?
The financial aid would typically be the regular student loans, kind of similar to probably what you could get at NC State. So federal loans, you'd apply through the FAFSA. You would do the FAFSA first and then talk to the financial aid office. But most of our students, if they come in, they would have a loan if they're not just paying for it.
And then another Ashley asked, I have a question. I have a question regarding the shadowing hours. Do all 100 hours have to be put into one thing, or can we split those hours between opportunities?
You can split them into 50 different things if you want. If you want to keep track of all those hours and do many things, that is perfectly fine with us.
And then Leah asked a question regarding pass fail. What if you pass fail and retake the class at a later date?
So you would have a different grade then? Is that what she's asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you would probably want to use the one with the grade. Unless the grade was bad, then the pass fail would probably be better. No, they'll see everything anyway. So yeah, the grades are always better because they can see your performance.
I have one more question. Are post-bac students like guaranteed to be able to enroll into the classes they need, or do you have to wait until like undergrad students enroll in order to register? Does
You're
that make
not
sense?
guaranteed, yeah, you're not guaranteed, but we typically get you what you need, just because our school isn't very big. It's not as big as NC State, so we haven't had any issues with our students not getting the courses that they need for the post-bac program.
Okay, that makes sense.
And we actually register you your first semester anyway. So
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good.
We have another question in the chat. What type of classes do they normally take in the post-bac program?
Like I said, there's individualized advising, so it depends on each person. But in the summer, if you haven't had like biochem, you would take that series. And then we have genetics, physics, biochem, human A&P, your basic what you would need for medical school or PA school, those prerequisites, the standard ones is what we offer. But if you've already had something, we can do substitutes. If you've already taken your physics series, obviously we're not going to have you do it again.
So what would they take in place of that?
Depends on the semester and depends on their interests and what they're going into. We would work with them individually.
So it's like a really flexible type of thing?
It is, except for the courses you need for your schools. Like if you need a certain series, we make sure you get it. Like human A&P, you can't say, I don't want that, but the med school requires it. You'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there situations where someone could graduate early?
The program's only a year, so no, because you're required to do the 12 in the fall and 12 in the spring to get their certificate. The minimum is 24 credit hours to get the certificate. You may not need the summer portion, but you would definitely need the fall and spring portion of that. So if that's early, I guess you'd shave off a semester, yes.
All right, do we have any more questions? You can drop them in the chat or you can just unmute yourself.
And also later, if you have a question after this, you have our contact information on this slide. You can take a picture of it and then contact us later on. That's perfectly fine because you may have questions you may not want to ask in the group setting.
All right. You can also send me this slideshow if you'd like, and I can send it to the club members if that's something you'd like.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, great. Any more questions? No? All right, well, thank you so much for coming.
Okay.
Thanks for talking about the Meredith College post-bac program, answering our questions. I know you said you had to go at 4:30. So
Yeah, so if you guys have other questions, email me and I'll be happy to answer them. Or if you have more course questions, you're asking about the classes, Dr. Gorham is a good resource. So also feel free to reach out to him and just tell him you were in his info session with me and you just had some additional advising type questions, and we'll be happy to help.
got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I will send you that PowerPoint to share with everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. All right, so I was thinking during the second half of the meeting, I could go over some different things. So maybe you guys have gotten the email from Dr. Easterlin, and I think I forwarded them as well. But there's a health professions fair next week from 11 to 2. So we're not going to be having a meeting next Wednesday because I think it's better for you guys to go to the health professions fair. Um, Obviously, it's going to be virtual this year. So if you click on the link right here, um, it'll take you right here. And this is essentially like all the people who are going to be at this virtual health professions fair. So, you got Alabama, DO, Brody, Campbell, Duke. I'm sure a lot of these are like schools that you guys would be interested in. So going to the health professions fair is a good way to find out about the school, like from people from the school, and it's also a good way to get your name in their hands. Um, let's see. Another thing I wanted to talk about in relation to the Meredith College Postbac program. So there are actually like lots of postbac programs. Um, and this is a resource on the AAMC website where it lists like all of these postbac programs, and you can narrow them down however you like as well. So you can pick whichever state you'd be interested in. You can pick public, private, whether you'd want a certification or not. Um, like if you have a certain special focus you want to get into, and I think that's for disadvantaged students. Yeah, I think that's for disadvantaged students. I could be wrong. And then this is undergrad versus graduate post-bac programs. So just for an example, let's pull up North Carolina. So right here you have Campbell. They have a post-bac program there. Duke, Guilford, Meredith, and then there's the NC State Physiology program. So this is a great way for those of you who are interested in going into a gap year, just going onto this website and figuring out which post-bac programs you would want to apply to. And if you have like a favorite school that you really want to go to, going to a post-bac program at that school, a lot of the times that'll help you get a foot in the door. Because if you're getting, like, let's say you go to a post-bac program at, let's say Wake. So if you do a post-bac program at Wake Forest, the good thing is that a lot of the times the people who are in the post-bac program, a lot of the times they're also affiliated with the medical school. And let's say you get letters of recommendation from somebody at that post-bac program, um, the admissions people can actually reach out to them personally then, because most of the time they already know each other. So a lot of the times these post-bac programs, especially if you have like a favorite, this might be a good way to go about that. Can you link this in the chat? Yeah, I'll definitely link this, and then I'm gonna send all this stuff out after the meeting too. Do you guys have any questions about this? I know it's kind of a lot, but once you get the link, and you just kind of mess around and see what you like, I'm sure that'll help. But if you have any questions for me, you can ask right now about this and the health professions fair. Any questions? All right, then I'm gonna just go ahead and go over MSAR. This isn't something I knew about until probably this year, actually a year ago. But this is like a really useful tool, and I wish I had known about it earlier. Oh, sorry. I plan on going to the fair, and it's my first one. What's the fair structure typically like? Well, I've only been to the ones in person. The ones in person, it was literally just tables with representatives at the tables. You just kind of go up to them, talk to them, uh, let them know your name. Yeah, just let them know your name, let them know you're interested. Maybe if it's like a school you're particularly interested in, like maybe do a little bit of homework before you go there. Um, and you just kind of talk to them, ask you any questions you might have. Usually they have like some sort of interest sheet so you can get on some type of email list. Um, and then a lot of the times they'll give you like email addresses and just people to contact and stuff. But this year it's obviously going to be different because everything's virtual. But I do think like it's going to be like the same type of setting in a way because I think you sign up for these time slots. Yeah, like you sign up for these time slots, and this might actually be a good thing because then you can meet with them one on one. Yeah, schedule type one on one. So you're gonna be talking to them one on one for like at least 10 minutes. So that might be a good way for you to ask your specific questions, and it's I guess it's a good way to help them remember you better because a lot of times in person it's like a few people at the table and stuff. I think that's how it works. But obviously this is the first time, so I can't say for sure. Any other questions about the health professions fair? Yeah, no problem. All right, any questions about the post back? Okay, so we'll go over the MSAR tool. So MSAR, this is something you should use if it's something you should be using if when you're trying to decide where you want to apply to. Do you have any recommendations about questions to ask for the one-on-one conversation? Um, I guess I can't really recommend anything just because, like, obviously all of us have different questions and things we want to ask. So like just to ask about like their program, like their like what their program emphasizes. Um, maybe ask like about like test scores and stuff. Like it's difficult for me to like come up with questions for you guys, but if you do your homework beforehand, um like it would be good to have questions ready beforehand. But I think questions in general just about like their program and what they offer. Um and a lot of times they have different like clubs, missions, projects, whatever at these specific medical schools. So you can ask specific questions about that. Okay, so MSAR. You should use MSAR to help you kind of narrow down where you want to go to school or apply to, I should say. So right here you have like your basic filters, urban, suburban, rural, public, private. But then it also like let's say like you want to pick a certain MCAT range, like you got a certain score in your MCAT and like you're trying to be realistic about where you can go. You can use this to find a good range to consider. Same thing with the GPA. Um, and then depending on if like you're a certain resident of a state, or maybe if you're not a U.S. citizen, or if you want to apply to Canada, they have those options right there, and then different states again. And okay, so I'm just gonna use Brody as an example because I'm sure most of y'all would either apply to Brody or UNC. So right here it tells you a lot of information you would want to know. So tuition, how many kids, how many students are going to be starting in that first class, median GPA, median MCAT. And it also gives you this information right here. Let's say if you want to do a master's in public health or an MBA while you're going to getting your MD. And then if you go ahead and click on it, it gives you even more details. Okay, subscribe to you. Okay, for some reason it's not popping up right now. But if you get to subscription, I think the subscription's like 20 something. I think it's like 20 something a year. So it's not that much. And if you qualify for the fee assistance program, I know they give it to you for free if you qualify for that. Um, so you'd get this for free as well, and it gives you a lot of these people that you can contact as well. Dr. Bright, we had him at a meeting in the fall. They have his contact information. Yeah, there you go. It's $28 for a year right now. So it's not a whole lot. But it's a very useful tool because a lot of the times, like for me going through NC State, like going through undergrad, people are just kind of like, oh, like just go look it up, like just like make a list, but there's not really any good resources out there to go about doing that until I found this. And this tells you just about everything you need to know. If there are people you want to contact about certain programs you might be interested in, it also gives you information about like summer programs and post-bac programs. Um, and then the mission statement, you can find that just about anywhere. But the mission statement is very important when you're trying to figure out which schools you would want to apply to. And it'll also give you information about letters of rec, application fees, primary application fees, secondary application fees. And this stuff isn't showing up right now. I'm not sure why, but normally it would give you the deadlines for everything. And then like if you were to get accepted, like the deposit information, waitlist information. It tells you the things they consider when going through applications. This I remember it was usually like different graphs and stuff like that, essentially showing like how many of the enrolled students at Brody um, have like community service hours, like shadowing hours. It shows you the data of the accepted students, so you know what to expect of yourself when you're applying. And then there's the pre-med coursework. Usually it's this, for the most part, it's the same things for all med schools, but different, sometimes there's like different little specific things. So it's good to check on this. And then the acceptance data, it'll give you the range. I know it said 508 back there, so this is probably a 508. And it gives you like this good little range of students they normally accept. And this, I'm pretty sure, is split up by sections. So the 4 sections of the MCAT, it'll give you the median of the accepted students and then the range of accepted students. And it does the same thing for the GPA as well. And then it gives you a matriculant data, so the people enrolled, men, women, race, disadvantaged status, age, and then obviously only NC State residents are accepted at Brody. And it also tells you which number of students are from medically underserved areas. Oh, and then also right here it tells you for the students who are graduating from Brody, it tells you which residency they're going into. So this will be like, let's say like oncology, internal medicine, so and so. It gives you the percentage of how many students go into that residency at this school. So let's say you have a specific specialty you want to go into, this can help you with that. Mhm. And then there's cost of attendance, campus life. So there's just a lot of different information, and this is just one school, but it gives you that information for all of the schools. So I think this is a really good tool for you to make your list of schools you want to apply to. Do y'all have any questions about MSAR? Or just any questions in general?
I have a question about volunteering.
Yeah, what's up?
So like when you volunteer, is there like a form you need the person to sign, or like is there a certain way to like track your hours, or like how do you go about doing that?
Um, do you have like a specific place or thing you're talking about, or just in general?
Like in general, like I signed up for the in the email that was just sent out, I signed up for like the volunteering at the kids like concession stand thing, and then I also got like a volunteering job at a chiropractor. So I was just wondering like how I like do I like get them to sign it, or like what do I do?
If I were you, like you should track your own hours.
Okay.
Because especially like let's say you're doing different volunteer opportunities at different places, it's best if you just have, I guess, kind of like this running log of places that you volunteered at, like your different experiences, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
So, have like the name of the activity, like a description of it, like the hours you've put into it, and then you can get a signature if you like. But honestly, they don't like I don't think a signature is like necessary unless
Okay.
you're getting a letter of recommendation from there. If you were getting a letter of recommendation from there, I think you should get a signature just in case.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any more questions? All right. Well, if there aren't any more questions, um, we can go ahead and announce the winner of the last T-shirt.
Okay, the winner of our last giveaway is Molly Fordham. So if you want to drop your email in the chat, you get the last t-shirt. It's a large, so just let me know your email and we can get that to you.
All right. Awesome. Congrats, Molly. Everybody else, if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. If you have questions you want to ask me, like outside of the meeting, just email me at mscon3ncsu.edu or ncstatepremed@gmail.com. Either one's fine. All right, well, thanks everybody for coming, and I'll see you guys later.